All right. All right, well, let's just get started with some pre-market analysis here. Good morning, good morning. So I have the weekly time frame pulled up on both NQ here on the right, ES pulled up here on the left. Good morning, Honest Money. Look at that. The name has turned to green. The name has turned to green. I love it. Good morning, Jay. All right, guys. So weekly time frame. What are we looking at? Well, first thing I'm looking at is our weekly busy right here. Weekly busy that we traded down to almost the equilibrium, almost consequent encroachment of that imbalance, and we bounced off of it pretty aggressively. Okay, and then what was I looking at as our target on the weekly time frame? Well, I was looking at this weekly SIBI up here. This was our buy side target up here that I've been talking about for a while that I really wanted to see us get to. Was first that weekly SIBI, and then it was up here to all-time highs, which obviously we've had a little bit of a pullback, and we have not reached up to that weekly SIBI, but ultimately that is still my target, is that weekly SIBI. Good morning, Crixus. Ultimately, my target is that weekly SIBI. So what I also want to look at is that previous week high. So we're going to chart out previous week high, and then we're going to chart out a previous week low right down here. Right there. So we got previous week high, previous week low. Okay, so what are we more likely to target? Well, from last night, you would think we would be wanting to go target our previous week low, right? Because we had a big sell-off from market open last night. But ultimately, I still want to see us respect this weekly busy and push up to previous week high and come into that weekly SIBI. Ultimately, that's what I want to see happen, right? I want to see that happen. So on a weekly time frame, that's what I'm looking at. Now, let's say we were going to drop very aggressively and try to push through this weekly busy. Well, that's when I would expect us to come all the way down to these equal lows on the weekly time frame and sweep the equal lows. All right, so we could just say sell side liquidity down here. Equal lows, you know, however you want to chart it. But I would need to see us really pushing through this consequent encroachment of this weekly busy before I would start looking for us really to come down and take out those lows. Ultimately, I still am long biased. Let's go to the daily time frame. Okay, look at the daily time frame. We've already swept previous day high, and then we have previous day low down here. All right, so we've got previous day low down here. We've already taken out previous day high. We have previous week high up here. We've traded into a daily busy as well, and we initially bounced off that daily busy and just failed to make a push higher to grab equal highs. But looking at the daily time frame, just on a bigger scale, we came up here, we inversed a daily bearish fair value gap. We traded into a daily bullish fair value gap. We respected the bullish fair value gap, and now we've got this swing high all the way up here on the daily time frame that I would like to see us target as well. All right, so we got that buy side liquidity up there, external buy side at that daily high, and then we have a daily bearish fair value gap up here as well. Okay, but right now looking at the daily time frame, we are looking pretty bearish to start on the day. So again, I'm going to need to see a lot of confirmation if I was going to start looking for longs in this market. But we'll get into that a little bit more as we start going down on the time frames a little bit. Let's look over here at the weekly on ES real quick. Notice how we trade into the weekly busy. We got a very strong bounce off the weekly busy, and we are very close to all-time highs over here still on ES. If we look at the daily time frame, we've already swept previous day high, and then we have previous day low down here. Right down there, previous day low. And we have bounced off this daily SIBI as well. We need to see ES pushing through that daily SIBI. Okay, so let's go down to a 4-hour on NQ. This is where the 4-hour looks pretty strange, right? The 4-hour structure has looked very weird for the past few weeks, or more like the past week or so. It's looked pretty strange. Very weird structure. We've been able to trade it very well, but we just need to pay attention to this structure and really be paying attention to the 4 hours. So the first thing I want to point out is all of these equal highs on the 4 hour, and you can see it on the 1 hour time frame as well. Look at all those equal highs, guys. This is a very, 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 very strong area of liquidity. When we have 4 equal highs on a 4-hour time frame, this is a very strong draw on liquidity. So I really want to see price ultimately come up and grab these equal highs up here. Really want to see us come up, grab those highs. That's another reason I'm still bullish biased overall. And then we can come down here. I'm going to delete this weekly busy real quick. We can come down here and we can see this 4-hour busy down here. Notice how every time we've traded into that 4-hour busy, we have bounced off of it pretty aggressively. So this is another level we need to be keeping our eye on. You know, if we're going to trade into it again today, what kind of reaction are we going to get? Are we going to come down and sweep previous day low? Or are we going to come down and sweep, you know, some more internal lows and touch into this busy and then bounce up for those equal highs? That's what I would want to see happen. But if we were going to really start to push down and try to take out previous day low and inverse a 4-hour, that's when I'm expecting us to come all the way down to previous week low. Okay, let's go down to the 1-hour time frame. 1-hour time frame, we have this 1-hour SIBI above us that when we traded into, we did get a strong bounce off of as well. So another thing, right, if I want to see these long step in, I need to see us pushing through the consequent encroachment, the equilibrium of this hourly SIBI. If we continue to respect this hourly SIBI, well, that's when I'm looking for shorts, and that's when I'm looking for the shorts to come down to previous day low. Okay, and then we can look at our hourly range here. All right, so we've got this hourly range. At that low is an external low, so that's external sell side liquidity. And then up at this high, we have external buy side liquidity. Good morning, Matthew. All right, so we got this 1-hour range right here, buy side, sell side. We need to see, right now we're more likely to take out the sell side of that range, and if we're going to close with displacement below the sell side, right, then we're expecting that continuation to more sell side liquidity, as I've been saying. I keep repeating that, but it's very important to pay attention to. Another thing you can do with these hourly ranges is you can use your Fibonacci retracement tool, and then you can look at that 0.5 level. Well, the 0.5 of the Fibonacci is right around the equilibrium of that 1-hour SIBI, so that could be a very good touch point for price to retrace up to before the shorts end up stepping in, right? So let's go down to the 15-minute time frame. Let's look at the 15. Let's see what these levels are. Right? What is this level right here? Well, it's not really a London low. Our London low is from 2 to 5 a.m., right? London session is from 2 to 5 a.m. So we already had our London low swept because it was this 5 a.m. candle right here. That's already been swept. What is this high up here? This high is actually our London high. So we can change that up here to London high, right? Because it was formed at 3:15 a.m. So that's our London high. And then we can already see that the market's opening right now, by the way. Market's opening right now. We're almost done with our pre-market analysis. But we can see that our Asia low was down here, already got swept. Our Asia high that was up here already got swept, so we don't need to worry about that. The only level I worry about now is the London high. That's the only level that I really care about now. All right, so at market open, prices are already moving down pretty aggressively. All right, we can start to look at the VIX. We can start to look at YM. The VIX is actually opening, started to open bearish. Now it's kind of pumping a little bit. YM is pumping a little bit. All right, so just remember, guys, we stay patient. We really need to wait for our A+ setups, and we'll watch what the market does here at market open. Be prepared. All right, so a lot of chop leading into pre-market. Strong drop grabbing sell side liquidity. Remember, we're trading down into a 4-hour imbalance down here. Need to keep our eye on this 4-hour imbalance. Keep our eye on how this hourly candle is going to close. All right, so our nearest draw on sell side already got taken. Our next draw on sell side, external draw, is down at previous day low. So if we're going to close down with continuation, that's where we're expecting us to continue down to. If we're going to start to reject this level and start to see reversal, okay, well, now we're looking for longs to come up and take out London high and ultimately come up to all these equal highs up there. So initially last night when I was talking about taking a trade, that's where I wanted to see us go, was up to these equal highs last night, but I never took the trade because my levels never got hit, or we never inverse levels that I wanted to see inverse, so I never took a trade. And that's why we always stay patient, because we need to see our levels hit before we're really jumping into anything. We need to see our levels respected or certain levels disrespected. We don't just jump into a trade just because we are eager to take a trade. No, we need to see our levels actually being taken out. All right, so this 15 minutes really moving down right now. Or just the market in general is really moving down. All right, so let's say, for instance, let's say I wanted to see a reversal. What am I looking for to give me confirmation that a reversal is going to step in? Well, step number 1 would be a reaction off this 4 hour. We just tapped into it. Step number 2 would be for us to come up and inverse this 1 minute SIBI right here. Right, and there's a few different steps. Another step would be waiting for the VIX to start to dump. I would also want to see the 5 minute fail to close with displacement below these lows. I'd want to see the 5 minute close above this sell side liquidity level. All right, so there's a bunch of different things that I need to see if I was actually going to look for longs, because right now we look very bearish. Right now we are looking extremely bearish. So as long as we're looking bearish, as long as we're closing with displacement below the lows, I'm going to be looking for shorts. All right, but hope you guys had an amazing Labor Day weekend. Hope you guys are ready and focused to get after it today. After having an amazing week last week, let's just continue with this mindset, continue with this this momentum that we have. Hope you guys rested up this weekend and also celebrated your wins a little bit. All right, so this one's moving. For anybody that's new here, what I typically do is I like to wait usually for like the first 10 to 15 minutes of market open before I take any trades. The only time I'll take a trade before that is if I see something so perfect that I just cannot pass it up. Besides that, I'm waiting, I'm being patient for our 10-minute and 15-minute opening range to be created. A lot of people might not like that. A lot of people might like to jump into trades right off of market open, but I think it's better to wait and be patient and just wait for the market to show us what it wants to do on the day. So far, what we've been seeing, the market is showing us that it wants to drop. The market is showing us a lot of bearish sentiment right now. All right, so we're seeing the VIX pumping pretty good. The VIX is pumping. Is there any reason to use TradingView on the web browser? Yeah, I just like it. It's easy. I just like using TradingView on the web browser. All right, so first 5 minutes have opened. Notice how we closed with strong displacement. Notice how we closed with very strong displacement of our previous lows. That's very key. Something that we need to pay attention to. That means we're showing very strong bearish bias right now. That means we're looking like we're going to come down and already try to sweep our previous day low. All right, so what we have to wait for is we have to wait for pullback. We have to wait for fair value gap. We have to wait for our opening range. All right, wait for these levels to be created. I'm not going to chase a short position just because I think these shorts are going to step in. And if I miss out on this initial move, oh well, I miss out. I'll wait for the next move. I really do not care if I miss out on an initial move. I don't really care if I miss out on any move, because there's always going to be more moves to be taken. So I'm just going to continue with patience, continue to wait for the right setup. Let's look at this 1 hour. All right, so what are we looking? Where's our next level after previous day low? Well, we have this swing low down here. Swing low all the way down here. I mean, I want this to be manipulation, right? I would, just because my bias is still overall bullish on a weekly time frame, I would like to see this be manipulation for a reversal, but we are showing us very, a lot of bearish momentum right now. So again, we have to see a lot more before we'd even see a reversal happen. But on the external sell side, this is that next external low, and we don't have another one until previous week low. We're going to have some more internal liquidity. Let's look at the 5-minute. Let's see what kind of internal liquidity we have on the 5-minute. We've just got a few swing lows down here, some equal lows down here. Not a lot of internal liquidity. You know, we've got a few lows here and there, but I'm really focused on the external liquidity the most. Okay, so this is where we be patient, this is where we wait. This is now where I kind of start looking at those 1-minute levels, those 1-minute fair value gaps, to see if we're respecting the 1-minute fair value gaps or not. Okay, now we can start using our Fibonacci as well. We form a swing high to swing low. What are we looking at? We're looking at that equilibrium, 0.5. We're looking at the premium. We're looking at the discount. When we move down, we want to see price retrace into a premium to short back down to take out previous lows, and vice versa. Alright, everything right now is still looking like we are trying to drop, but we just need to wait for the right setup. We're about to create our 10-minute opening range in just a minute and 20 seconds. Patience, patience, patience. Thank you for those notes. Yeah, we do have very high volume today. We did have, well, let's see what news we have coming out, right? I think we have a few things coming out very soon. We do have a red folder coming out at 10 a.m. We have a yellow folder coming out at 9:45. We have an orange folder, another yellow folder at 10 a.m. So we've got some news coming out. We already had, do we have any news pre-market? We didn't really have any news directly affecting us pre-market. But yeah, just like you said, when you see NVIDIA tanking, well, NVIDIA plays a big part on NQ, right? NVIDIA is going to, if NVIDIA is tanking, we expect NQ to be tanking as well, right? Just because it has so much power over the NASDAQ, over NQ. Alright, so I'm waiting for this 5-minute SIBI to be formed here. We're about to form it. 5-minute SIBI being formed right here. 10-minute opening range is being created now. So, I mean, if we're going to really drop below our 10-minute opening range, that's when we're expecting a huge dump off, right? If we start to push below this opening range, but I still want to see some kind of retracement for us to be able to get a good entry on this. Because so far, we're not really being offered any good entries. In my opinion, I still don't see any solid entry levels. But if you like to trade opening range breakout, well, this is when you start looking for the opening range breakout once we take out this 10-minute low. If we're moving down with a lot of momentum, that's when you're expecting us to really continue to push down and grab our sell side levels. So we're almost at previous day low. We've already swept previous day high. We're almost sweeping previous day low. All right, so this is pretty rare to see this happen. We just swept previous day low. We just took out our opening range low and an external previous day low. So we're sweeping these levels already with no pullback, with no really good entries, right? There's nothing being offered yet that I would even be willing to take. As I said before, I don't really care if I miss out on a move. I will stay patient until my A+ setup shows up. Right? That was evident last week, guys. What did we do? Every single day, there was multiple days where we waited an hour for our setup to come before we took any trade, and it paid off, right? We waited an hour for 400 or 600 ticks. That's what it's all about, is being patient. Just because we see the market moving does not mean you should get involved in it. If you see your A+ setup, great. Then you should jump in and take that trade. But if you don't see your A+ setup, just continue to sit on the sideline until you see it. Okay, we just formed a 1-minute bearish fair value gap right here. All right, little 1 minute SIBI. Let's see what kind of reaction we're going to get off of this level. All right, a lot of volume today so far. Notice how we just wicked super quick into that level and did not even give us a chance. Didn't even give me a chance to get an entry if I wanted to there, right? That's just, we're seeing that volatility here. We're seeing that volatility. Hey, welcome, welcome. Glad to have you. I like your profile picture. All right, so we literally wicked. Did you guys see how fast we wicked into that SIBI right there on the 1 minute? That was a very quick wick. Like, I looked away for 1 second, and that's how quick it was, right? It wicked in and just dumped. Okay, so I'm not going to take that entry because then my entry ends up being all the way down here. So this is when I start looking for price to retrace. If we're going to inverse a 1 minute SIBI, that's when I start looking to see if price is going to retrace a little bit. And so in this high volume price action, I'm okay with really just staying patient, especially when we have news coming out in a few minutes and we have more. We have another red folder event coming out in like 15 minutes. So I'm completely okay with being patient right now. Really just waiting for our A+ setup to appear. Waiting for the market to really show us what it's going to do. We just inverse that 1 minute SIBI. Looks like these longs might want to step in a little bit. Maybe get a little bit of retracement into that 5 minute. We might retrace into that 5 minute a little bit. But yeah, we do have news coming out. It's only yellow folder, so I'm not really worried about this one. But the news coming out at 10 a.m. is where we're really going to see a big impact in our market. All right, so we inversed a 1 minute. Could have taken a long off the inverse. I don't really trust longing this market right now, not yet. I do not trust longing this market at all yet. We're way too bearish for that. So even though I see an inverse and I see the VIX, pulling back a little bit, does not mean I'm just going to jump into a long. Especially when we have news coming out in a few seconds. Alright, so 15-minute opening range has now been created. We can see that strong 15-minute displacement candle down here. Opening range low all the way down here. We've already swept previous day low. So right now we're looking like we're going to get a continuation to sell side. Now we'll see what kind of impact news has on our market here. We already inversed this 1 minute fair value gap. We're trading back into the inverse. Cheers, everybody. Cheers. Good morning. Guys, look how red my face got. I got very sunburned yesterday at the lake. Very, very sunburnt. Alright, so these longs are reacting. They're rejecting that inverse fair value gap pretty hard. Let's see what happened with the news. Looks like we missed the mark a little bit on the news, so I don't think it's going to have too much of an impact. Like I said, the red folder news coming out in like 14 minutes is what's going to truly have the impact on our market. That's when we're going to see a lot of volatility. So what I'd be waiting for right now is for us to trade into this 5 minute SIBI, start to form some better 1 minute structure here, give us a good short entry. Give us a good short entry. Is this a break of structure? No, this is not a break of structure. Are you talking back to the upside? It's not a break of structure because you need to see a previous high get swept, a previous swing high. So like a break of structure would look more like us coming up to this high, this little swing high right here, and closing above. That would be a break of structure here on the 1 minute time frame. But no, inversing a fair value gap to me is not a break of structure, but it is a good, it's good confluence for looking for a reversal or looking for, an entry into a trade. Okay, the VIX is still very bullish right now. YM is dumping. I'm expecting us to still really dump off today, at least from what we've seen so far. I just need to see us trade into a solid level like this 5 minute SIBI. YM is the Dow futures, Matthew. The Dow futures. I like to look at it for extra confirmation. It's just another correlating market. It moves much differently than NQ and ES, but we can still use it as confirmation. We want it still to move similar to NQ and ES. Excuse me. Alright, so I'm just waiting for us to trade up into that 5 minute SIBI right now. That's what I'm waiting for. Remember, this hourly is going to close in about 12 minutes. We're going to have that red folder news. So we have to continue with our patience. Okay, here's another thing to keep an eye on. We just got big SMT. Notice how ES has not swept previous day low. It's not even close to it yet. NQ swept previous day low. That's pretty big SMT divergence right there. Now, I still expect us to be bearish right now because everything else fundamentally is telling me bearish. But that's something to keep our eye on. When you see big SMT on a daily time frame or an hourly time frame, that's something we really, really, really need to watch. And what I mean by SMT divergence is when we see a divergence between correlating markets, correlating indices like NQ and ES. When ES fails to sweep a low, NQ sweeps a low and starts to reverse, that's when we're looking for price to truly reverse back, for the longs. NQ is almost into that 5 minute SIBI up here. Remember, this is what we've been waiting for. So what I'd need to see is for us to trade into the SIBI, see a good rejection off of it, form good structure to the sell side to give me a good entry opportunity. And then where would we be looking to take the shorts? We'd be looking to take the shorts down to this swing low here. And ultimately, we'd be looking to take them down to our next external low down here. But we still need to see some of our levels be tapped into. We still need to see some more confirmation if I'm going to take any trade right now. You guys know me. I'm not one to rush into a trade. Got to see our confluence. Alright, so we just sit back, we stay patient, we wait for our setup. Now, has anybody already taken trades this morning? I can almost assume that some of us have already taken trades. If you have taken trades, have they gone good or have they gone bad? B on one account, a little red on funded, okay. No trades, no trades. Some trades been good. Okay. Alright. So a lot of us are staying on the sideline right now. Practicing that Yoda patience, I love it. Yeah, guys, the 15-minute unicorn last night really, really played out. Yesterday afternoon, it really did play out. We can talk about it. I can show you in a little bit. Yeah, Matthew, I'll show you an example. And remember, I do have educational video about the unicorn model as well. Under, what is it? Under, I think it's under Joe's Lessons. Joe's Lessons is where you can see that video about the unicorn model. Yeah, again, not expecting too much to happen, just like you said, honest money. Right, we're moving sideways. We're consolidating a little bit. We have red folder news coming out in like 7.5 minutes, so we can expect us to, consolidate a little bit until big, impactful news comes out. Which I honestly love waiting for that red folder news to come out at 10 a.m. It happens pretty often with our news releases, our data releases, because it truly shows us what direction the market's going to start moving. And it gives us some volume, gives us some volatility, and it gives us some pretty good setups for the most part. What most people will try to do is gamble right when the news comes out and try to jump into a trade, and then they end up getting wicked out before anything happens. And they end up either hitting their loss limit or, losing a bunch of money before the real move happens. Exactly. So we have this 1 minute SIBI right here. Let's see if we're going to respect it. See if we're going to try to push through it. And we can always listen to some music while we, wait for this news to come out. Let's see, is that SMT? Look at that. See that volatility I'm talking about, guys? Notice how we trade into that SIBI and just instantly got a crazy reaction off of that 1 minute. Right, just very volatile right now, which I am completely okay with staying on the sideline for right now. Let's look. Do we have SMT on the 1 minute time frame? Let's check it out. Let's see. Did we have SMT? I don't think we had SMT. The 1 minute just looks very different. Actually, yes, we did have SMT. You're right, Matthew. We did have SMT at the highs. You are right. We had 1 minute SMT. So, guys, this volatility, like I said, is just going crazy. Right? We respected the 1 minute busy, and we got such a fast drop off that level. Like to put a market order into that. I wasn't going to trade while we're consolidating. I'm not going to trade while we have news coming up in just a few minutes. So you might be getting FOMO. You might be, getting upset that you're missing out on a trade. You're missing out on this drop. You probably are saying to yourself, I saw that 1 minute SIBI. I should have just pulled the trigger. I should have just taken that trade. Let's get away from telling yourself that. Right? If you see your level, either take it or don't take it. And whether you don't take it or not, you have to live with that. Where is my mind by the Pixies? Very nice. Stop. So, news coming out in 4.5 minutes. Let's just stay patient here. We just already swept that next external low. Price is moving quick. We still have big SMT divergence. Now, some of you guys that are new here might not be used to being patient in your trading. You might be used to already taking 10 trades at market open. That's just not what we do here at EE. We don't do that. Yeah. Where is my mind? Okay, so we just formed a little bit of like a 1 minute unicorn here. We are reacting off that unicorn. So right here is where we notice it. High, low, higher, high, displacement of the lows, fair value gap overlapping right here. So you could take that short entry if you want to be aggressive. But you always have to have, what is your sell side target you're looking for price to go take out now? Right, hit the unicorn so you could take that entry. You could take it down to our previous low. If you got a good entry, but you can see this breaker block right here, it in itself is 108 ticks on a 1 minute breaker, so it's a pretty big level. But so far, it's working out, right? It's just not something I'm willing to take when we have red folder news coming out in a few minutes. So what's our next sell side level? All the way down here at 19,215.50. Looks like that's our next big sell side level here. Hey Josie, if you want to hear me better, yeah, what Braden just said, you can right click on the stream volume. You can turn the stream volume all the way down if you want to. That way you can just hear me instead of the music. So I know some of us like to listen to the music, some of us don't want to listen to it, so you have that option to turn it down if you'd like. Alright, news coming out in 2 minutes. We're going into the new hour. Very, very, very strong displacement candle on this hourly time frame. Alright, so let's see what happens with this news release here, guys. Still respecting that 1 minute unicorn as of right now. 1 minute till this news comes out. And what is the news, you may ask? Well, we do have the whole news section that JB adds to every single day, guys, to keep us updated on our news. So if you're ever confused about what's coming out, go to that market news section. You can also go to forexfactory.com. That's also going to show you what news is coming out. So what we have is we have ISM manufacturing PMI, red folder, ISM manufacturing prices, orange folder, construction spending month over month, yellow folder. So 3 news or data releases coming out. So about 15 seconds till this news is released. And here we go. Here's the volatility. What am I waiting for? I mean, this one really could just continue to dump, guys. This one could just continue to fall off. That's all we've seen so far. Anybody holding the shorts? I'm not. No trades for me right now. Anybody into indie rock? Oh, you. Alright, so we came down, we took out sell side. Now what we're looking for is to see if we're going to continue to respect bearish order flow, if we're going to start to disrespect it and inverse some levels. Now we have this 15-minute SIBI up here as well. So we've got some good imbalances up here for price to come tap into. We might inverse this whole 1 minute unicorn right now. We just closed above consequent encroachment of that level. Oops. Alright guys, so I'm just gonna continue to stay patient here. Let's see. Yeah, exactly, right? 256 tick candle on a 1 minute candle here. This is why we stay out of the market while this news is coming out right now. Let's just stay patient, just chill out, relax. We will wait for our setup. We will wait for our setup like we always do. So what I'm waiting for right now is for us to start inversing these bearish levels. We just inverse 2 1 minute fair value gaps. Either inverse the 1 minute unicorn or start to respect it and start to build some better structure to give us better entries. But I'd like to at least see us trade up into that 5 minute up here. We got some SMT at the lows. A lot of SMT at the lows right now. We can see this SMT with ES sweeping the lows here. We can see NQ failing to sweep the low. So very steep SMT divergence here. But again, we're still respecting that unicorn. These shorts are still looking like they're trying to step in here. So now I'm looking for better 1 minute structure here. Can we form some 1 minute bearish for value gaps to trade off of? Alright, RC coin. See you later. See you for prop from session. Alright, so now we're looking at this 1 minute fair value gap here as a possible entry. Alright, and we'd be looking to target this low down here. And then down to those lows ultimately. But we're still very choppy here. I still don't love this price action. It looks like the market's still trying to pick its direction here. We still have some SMT divergence. So I'm going to stay patient right now. We did not tap into that 1 minute yet. Let's check out what YM is doing, what the VIX is doing. The VIX is absolutely pumping right now. The YM is absolutely dumping. So I'm expecting these shorts to really step in here. I just want to see us tap into a fair value gap. So far we still haven't tapped into a level I want to see us tap into. I'd want to see us come down, sweep this low, ultimately come down all the way to these lows down here. Let's get to... I think we need to play some Steel Pulse right now. Yup. Shout out Matthew. Okay, guys, we're just not trading back into any level that I can take an entry off of. All right, no level that I could defend taking an entry off of yet. So let's see if we can trade up into this 1 minute here. Alright, so I would rather, guys, personally, I would rather miss out on an entire move than take a trade that does not fit my criteria for a trade. Any day of the week. I would rather do that any day of the week. I do not care about missing out on one move in the market. Because you guys know there's going to be so many moves this week that we can make some good money off of. Why force it if you do not see your levels tapped into? So no more SMT down there. We just took out that low. Price action is a little gross right now. Let's just see us tap into that 1 minute. We also have a 2 minute right here we could tap into. So we just tapped into the 2 minute here. Let's see if we're going to react off of it or not. Okay, we're rejecting the 2 minute so far. I don't like that we're still sitting in the middle of this little range here on the 1 minute. But I do like that we continue to respect this bearish unicorn or bearish breaker. We were disrespected the unicorn. So let's see us trade up into this 1 minute here. I mean, you could take an aggressive entry off a 2 minute Sibby here, but I'm not going to take that aggressive entry yet. Well, we have swept a lot of external sell side liquidity, but what you have to look at is look how strong we displaced the sell side level here, this low. Now, we didn't displace this low, but we've shown a lot of One second. Yeah, but so we haven't displaced this low in the hourly time frame, but we have shown a lot of bearish momentum so far. But all this stalling down here, and all this chop doesn't make me want to jump into a trade until I see my level tapped into here. You know what song we need to play? We got to get the song going here. So I'm just gonna keep waiting, guys. I'll keep saying it. You're gonna hear me say that a lot. Why ruin a 5-day win streak by taking a stupid trade just because you want to take a trade, right? Might as well keep doing what we've been doing that's been successful for us. Don't fix it if it's not broken. So we're dropping off that 2 minute. We are rejecting the 2 minute pretty hard here. We did not tap into that 1 minute. Hey, going golfing today? I need to go golfing soon. I haven't been in a while. $100%, exactly, honest money. If you can walk away from every single day knowing you stuck to your plan, that's how you improve. That's how you get better. But if you walk away every single day knowing you did not stick to your rules, you gambled your money away, you took bad trades, all because you couldn't just stay patient, that leaves a bad feeling. Oh, do you now, John? I might have to come check him out. John, that Alabama football game looked absolutely insane. That looks pretty cool. Good old SEC football. Alright, so again, we continue to drop here. We're moving kind of slower. Ooh, Oregon Ducks fan, huh? A lot of my family are Ducks fans. Big Ten this year. Personally, I'm a USC fan for football, or for college sports. So we got a big win this weekend. Where in Oregon were you raised? That's where a lot of my family is from there. Boom, 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 boom. Wait, who's am I dumb? Why can't I can't think of who T-Jazz is. Beaverton, Portland. My family's all from Medford, down in Southern Oregon. Oh, you talking about Tristan Jass or whatever? That the white kid with the blonde hair, right? That kid's crazy. He actually signed to play there? That's wild. Alright, now we're forming this 2-minute Sibby here. We got strong displacement on the 5 minutes, so we could expect a continuation to sell side. Okay, deep, we will queue it up here. That's pretty wild. Good for him. USC. We gotta get some Tame Impala up in here first. So guys, right now we're really just kind of slowly chopping our way down. I need to see us trade into a good level. $15-minute busy. Yeah, we have been bouncing off that 15-minute busy right here. But we keep getting strong displacement. I'm just waiting for us to trade back into like a 2-minute or a 1-minute Sibby here. We're just not trading back into a good level for me to take an entry off of yet. E Hardy, I do a few things. As a trader, no matter where you're at, like, it's gonna take a long time. I'm gonna pause the music. It's gonna take a while to get to the point where you know for sure that you're not gonna give up, because you're gonna continue to have doubts. You are gonna continue to have doubts about, if you just can't seem to make it, you just continue to, maybe take losses or have those blow up days. And what I always had to remind myself was, is this something you truly are passionate about? Is this something you really want to make work? Well, for me in my life, if there's something that I want to make work, I'm going to make it work. And I'm going to have to articulate a better plan than I had before. If it's continuing to fail me, I'm going to just have to create a better plan and stick to it and be more disciplined. So whenever I've had that feeling of wanting to give up, I've had to kind of do a complete mental reset, go out in nature, and just kind of meditate and think to myself, why did I get into this in the first place? Is this something I truly am passionate about that I want to make work? Wait, guys, we're getting a reaction off that 2 minute here. 2 minute Sibby could be a decent entry here. I still don't love shorting from all the way down here personally, but that could be a decent entry. We've already kind of fallen off pretty far to where I don't really love taking an entry. I'm not going to take an entry down here right now. But we're getting a pretty strong rejection off that level right now. We've gotten a lot of displacement. But yeah, for me, E Hardy, it always goes back to that. Like, do I know this is something that can actually happen? Yes. I know that this is something that, I could find success in, right? This is what I used to think. This was my thought process. I see other people and I know that it's possible. I know in myself that I have it deep down to achieve literally whatever I want to achieve, because honestly, I am the one. My own brain is the one that's going to hold myself back. All right, I saw this quote yesterday. I don't know if this is true science or whatever it is, but it resonates with me, and it says 95% of the things we worry about do never actually happen. And I actually think about that, and that's so true for me. The things that I worry about the most never actually happen. So all these self-doubts that you have for yourself, if you continue with the negative self-talk and you continue to say, I'm never going to make it, I'm going to be a failure. Well, what do you think is going to happen if you keep telling yourself that? Well, that's probably what's going to happen, because deep down in your subconscious, that's all your subconscious is going to believe. But if you continue to tell yourself, well, if I do it the right way, if I focus on discipline, if I only buy one account per month and I only focus on trading that one account with good risk management, and I look for my take profit level, and I leave when I hit my loss limit, and I stick to my plan every single day, well, then I can make this work. But if I'm going to continue to make the same mistakes, well, then I need to take a step back and reevaluate what I'm doing here. Right, so that's what I always talk to myself about. Every time I would have those blow-up days and I would feel like quitting, I would feel like I suck, I would start with that whole negative self-talk thing. And once I could get past, that level of, once I could get to that level of discipline that I'm at now, right, that's when it started to change, because I knew deep down that I could make this work. I knew it because I've seen other people do it, and I know in myself that I have it in me. I know that everybody has it in them if they truly want to make it work. But it's going to be different for everybody. Your time frame is going to be different. Your story is going to be different. So don't compare yourself to someone else. Just because you see if someone else has made it, or they're getting consistent payouts, or they're profitable, doesn't mean they're better than you in any way. No, we're all the same, guys. We're all human. We all have the same abilities here. This market is the same for all of us. So if someone else can do it, then I know that you can do it for sure. If I can do it, I know that you can do it. But it's just going to take a different, amount of time for every single person, because we're all going to go through our own failures. We're all going to go through our own setbacks. But this is something I actually posted on X yesterday. It's not what happens to you that matters, guys. Because bad things are going to happen to everybody. I know there's degrees to it, because worse things can happen to certain people. I 100% get that. But it's not what happens to you. How do you react to what happens to you? How do you deal with the adversity? Are you going to be resilient, and fight back, or are you just going to let it keep punching you in the face and hold you to the ground? Right? So that's the way I see it. I had to get away from that whole woe is me mindset of thinking that I'm the only one that's going through bad times. I'm the only one that's, I like, why are you putting me through this, God? Well, why did I think God is putting me through that? Because he wants to make my character stronger. He wants to make me earn it, right? He wants to build me to be a better man than I was the day before. That's why I see it, the way I see bad things happening when you start to feel like you want to give up. So a little bit of a rant there, but that's the way I see it. Again, we haven't really missed much through my rant, to be honest. Not much is going on right now. Yeah, we bounced off the 2-minute, but we're not really seeing good volume here. The market's kind of moving a little bit slow. Not really loving any setups still. We're still rejecting that 2-minute. So again, if you want to take the entry off the 2-minute, you could take that. I still don't really love taking that entry right now. I don't like our price action. We're still just slowly chopping our way down. I just don't really like what I'm seeing here. So I'd rather sit on the sideline right now, not take an entry, and wait for an A+ setup. If I don't see my A+ setup, then why am I going to risk my own capital in this market? I'm not going to do that. Because I know today there's probably going to be at least one A+ setup, and if not, maybe a few. So I'm just going to wait for those A+ setups. Man, that's a great verse right there, John. I'm going to read this one out loud, guys. If you're not religious, I understand, but I still think this verse could hit home. John said, 1 Corinthians 10:13, no temptation has overtaken you except what is common to mankind. And God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. But when you are tempted, he will also provide a way out so that you can endure it. So no matter what you believe, no matter if you believe in God or if you don't believe in God, if you believe, whatever you believe in, as a human being, you're already built. You have it in you already. Your spirit is strong. Right, you can take whatever comes your way. I know that. It's just the truth. From what I've seen humans endure before, humans can endure pretty much anything that is thrown at them. Right, and every test that I've been through has all, even if I didn't have a good mindset during that test or what I was going through, even if I was, I had negative self-talk, even if I, didn't think I could get through it at the time, I was always able to get through it. And I don't think that's from my own doing. I think that's because God allowed me to, or gave me the ability to get through these things, right? And I think he puts that in every single human. Now, I'm not going to be, I'm not going to just say, yeah, you're going to succeed at trading, because no, you still have to put in the work. You have to put in the work if you want to be a good trader, if you want to make this work with anything in life. If you're going to make it work, you have to put in a lot of time and effort, because nothing good does come easy. If you expect to just get rich quick just because you're going to get on the computer for a few hours a day and click buy and sell, that's not going to happen. You got to study. You got to put in the work. And in due time, if you continue with that discipline and with that process you put in every single day, good things will happen. They will. All right, so we just inversed that 2-minute SIBI there. We inversed that 1-minute SIBI as well. Or wait, sorry, that's a 2-minute SIBI. No 1-minute SIBI here. We inversed the 2-minute. No trades yet, KT. No trades yet. I'm still just waiting for an A+ setup. We've had a few drops. We had that unicorn on the 1-minute, but we inversed the 1-minute fair value gap. I didn't really like that setup after inversing a 1-minute. We've had a few 2-minute fair value gaps, so that's pretty much all I've seen so far for possible entries. And that to me is not an A+ setup enough. I need to see more. And now we've just been kind of chopping a little bit. If we look at our news for the rest of the day, we don't really have, anything really coming out. We don't really have much else going on. And so far it's just choppy. And guys, another note to think about. Normally post-holiday has pretty bad price action. Normally post-holiday we see a lot of chop. Obviously today we've seen a big drop so far in the market. But we do often see a lot of consolidation in a post-holiday market conditions. So, if I don't see my setup, okay, we'll continue to preserve our capital for the next trade. We got a whole week ahead of us of trading, right? We don't need to make a bunch of money just in day one just because we feel the need to trade. Just because we had a holiday and we have the itch to jump into a trade. You got to fight against that temptation. Now, if you have traded and you've won, awesome. That's great. As long as you stuck to your plan and you found those levels, that's awesome. I have nothing against that. But if you've come into this market and you've just gambled just because you wanted to take a trade, I would definitely start to think about why you were taking those trades. All right, could you defend that trade to me? Could you defend that trade to all of your peers? If you can, great. But if you can't, then you probably should not be taking that trade. That's a great question. So initially, the first time I ever got into any kind of buying of stocks or trading was during COVID, during 2020. That was during the whole meme coin thing. You guys probably know all about it. It was when all of the meme stocks and all that stuff was going crazy. That was the first time I found interest in it because I saw everybody else was making money. I was like, well, I should probably make some money from this too. So I made a little bit of money. It wasn't anything crazy. And then after that is when I found day trading. That's when I found out about options. I already knew about options, but that's when I started to dive into options. But I was only in part-time, and I was just kind of studying on the side. I was still in college, so I was doing my school, and I was also studying options on the side. I didn't really find any success, because I wasn't putting everything into it. I was not putting everything into it. I was just kind of half-assing it, studying here and there, taking trades, losing money, losing all of the cash that I had in my account. And then I finally decided to kind of go all in on it, and that's when I started to look into futures. And once I found futures in ICT, that's when I started to go all in, and this was a long time ago. Not that long ago, honestly, but like 3 years. It's been like 3 years, right? So like 2021. That's when I started to kind of go all into it. I mean, I was still kind of half in, half out once I found futures, but then the more I got into it, the more I started realizing, okay, I'm going to start putting everything into this. Now, I was still in college, so I was still working a job. I had a lot of different jobs throughout high school, throughout college. Still consistently working. Look at this drop. So, again, we trade. I'm just going to go back to the charts real quick. We trade up. We inverse some levels. We inverse a 1 minute, a 2 minute. Right? We don't really set up any good levels to short off of, and then we just dump. So, again, I don't see any entries here that I would have taken. So why would I get FOMO about this drop happening right now if I didn't see any entries or any A+ setup, right? That's the way I look at the market. If I didn't see my A+ setup, then how can I get FOMO about a drop happening or about the move happening? Let's see. We are creating a nice 1 minute fair value gap here. Nice 1 minute, 2 minute fair value gap. Just one sec, guys. I'll get back to what I was talking about. I want to see us come down to this 19,215.50 is our next level, and then 19,140.25 is our next level. So there's still a lot of room down to the sell side here. You know, these fair value gaps are getting pretty big, right? 130 or 100 plus ticks per fair value gap. So we really have to time our entries very solid in these levels. But I mean, from this fair value gap down to our next sell side level is almost 200 ticks. So let's see if we're going to trade into that fair value gap and start to reject it. One minute fair value gap here on ES as well. YM is still pumping, or YM is still dumping, the VIX is still pumping. Let's see if we're going to get a nice reaction off of this fair value gap, if we're even going to trade into it. Okay, so we just tapped into it. If you're going to be aggressive, you could look for that entry right now, right? If you're going to be very aggressive, you can look to get in right now. I'm not looking to be that aggressive when I have a 100 plus tick fair value gap here, because we could easily retrace to the very top of that fair value gap and then drop. So I still want to see rejection and better structure formed here. See how much we're going to retrace into this fair value gap. Okay, now we have that 2 minute as well. We just tapped into a 1 minute and a 2 minute here. Let's see if we're going to start to reject here. Looks like we're trying to reject this level. Alright, I'm going to target the shorts here with just half a lot. I'm just going to do my first trade here and test out the shorts. Just half a lot. I'm going to keep my stop right above that last wick. 19,275. So I'll try out one trade here. 19,275 for my stop loss. But just half a lot, guys. I'm not going to go in a full position right now, because this is still, to me, an aggressive entry. This is still a risky entry here, because we're purely going based off of the rejection off of this 1 minute and 2 minute fair value gap. Right, so we might have to cut this one early if we're not going to continue to get that rejection here. So remember, when I say this is risky or this is aggressive, just be aware of that. That means it means we don't have a ton of confirmation in the move. But this is just me trying to be a little bit more aggressive to see if we're going to get that rejection like we've been doing the whole day. Every time we've been trading into a 2 minute fair value gap, we have rejected it. I just don't really like the stalling that we're seeing right now. A little too much stalling, but we'd be expecting us to come down to this low and then all the way down to this low here. All right, so you could look to take a TP at like a 1-to-1 down at this low, or you could hold all the way down to these lows here. So just half a lot right now. We'll see what happens. If we start to kind of move up aggressively, I'll probably just cut this one and wait for the next setup. So far, we're not really moving with displacement down to the lows. But we are seeing a nice rejection off the 2 minute and the 1 minute fair value gap here. So let's see what kind of continuation we get. Remember, just light risk on this play. If we start to drop below these lows, I'll probably just move my stop to break even, make it risk free. And I'll probably hold to take a TP until we hit all the way down here at our next sell side level. Did we just get SMT? No SMT. I'm just not liking this price action. Too much stalling here. So if we kind of start to pump a little bit too much, I'll probably just cut this one. I'm not going to take a full loss on this one if I see price start to kind of change direction. As of for right now, I'm going to keep holding this. As long as we're holding this level short. Just need to see some continuation. Continuation to the sell side. Not really liking this so far. I think we've hit like about 50 ticks on this. Pretty volatile this morning. But notice what I mean. Like when I see so much stalling, after I get my entry. I don't love to stay in this position. I'd rather kind of wait. You know, I'd rather get out if I see this much stalling and just wait for the next entry. For now, I'm going to hold because we're still in profit and we have not really broke above our break even. But if we start to break above our break even with momentum, I'm just going to cut it early, take a small loss, and wait for the next entry. Kind of like what we're seeing right now. We're kind of moving up aggressively. So we'll see how this 1 minute's going to close here. If it's going to move up very aggressively, close with a full body, I'm just going to cut this trade. Just because we're seeing so much stalling down here at the lows. So I'd want to see this one really start to move back down. Yeah, we're not getting the fall through. Let's see if I want to cut this one or not. We continue to hold this level. I mean, this break even is continuing. We just kind of chill around this break even. So I'm going to keep holding it for now. You guys will know if I cut this trade. Yeah, I'm just not really liking what I'm seeing. This one looks like it kind of wants to manipulate up a little bit. We'll see. I already told you guys it's a more risky trade. It's more aggressive, so yeah, this price action does kind of suck, not gonna lie. It does kind of suck. Very, very choppy. Very, very choppy here. That's a good close. That's a very good close on that 1 minute. So if we can break below our recent lows, I don't like that we're getting SMT. Okay, we just got big SMT. So I might just move my stop loss to break even, honestly, guys. I'm just gonna make this risk free. I'm making this risk free. We got big SMT divergence at the lows. Aggressive down close move and then instant reaction back up. That's not what I want to see for continuation. Especially when I see SMT divergence down here. ES fails to take out that low. So I'm just going to make this risk-free. I mean, you could also take a TP if you want to. We just hit above a 1-to-1. We just hit 73 ticks off our entry. So you could take a TP. I'm going to hold this one either if I get stopped out at break-even or hold down to 19.215.50 because I'm only in half a lot. So I want to get more of a reward for this one. Again, if you want to take a TP, you could take a TP. I'm just gonna put a limit order down at 19.216 just for a TP. I'll probably just sell off 2 contracts down there, maybe leave a runner. We'll see if we can make the drop. We're moving pretty good, but we could at any point we could just reverse back after having this SMT divergence and hit our stop loss, and that's why I just made this a risk-free trade. I don't want to take a loss on this trade. Price action is not very good. We're very choppy. We got SMT divergence at the lows. So I'm not going to take a loss on this one. We'll see what happens. Did anybody take a TP so far? I mean, we hit over 70 ticks. You could take a TP. It's not a 1-to-2 or anything, but it's above a 1-to-1. I'm not going to take a TP. I'm going to hold. Either I get stopped out for, a break-even trade, or I hit my TP for 100 and something ticks, 170 ticks. Dun, 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 dun. So I'm just watching. We'll see what happens. With this SMT divergence, I would not be surprised if we came up and got stopped at break-even. Would not be surprised. I do like that the 2-minute got strong displacement. We created a 2-minute bearish order block. We're starting to reject that order block a little bit. We have this 5-minute imbalance above now, though. We might come up for that 5-minute. So far today, though, every time we've traded into a 2-minute fair value gap, we've rejected it. And we've seen continuation. We have not seen, very strong retracement at all today. So I'm just going to keep holding this one. Okay, another strong displacement, another level that you guys could take a TP at. We just hit 102 ticks, so you guys could take a TP there. I might even think about taking a TP if we continue to stall too much. But with only half a lot, I want to catch more profit on this one. We'll see this. We still have SMT, guys. This SMT is what's kind of holding us up right now. Need to see ES come down and really sweep this low here. We got to see ES sweep this low. Once ES does that, then NQ is going to come all the way down and hit our TP here. Okay, we're looking pretty good. This one's looking better. 1 minute order block created. We're bouncing off the 1 minute order block. Let's see if this one can come down and sweep our low. If you guys want to take a TP, you can take a TP down here. I'm honestly thinking about just selling off 2 here, guys. Just because this SMT will not stop. I'm just going to sell off 2. I just sold off 2. I'm just going to keep 1 runner. I'm going to take profit, let this be a winning trade here. I'm going to let this one be a winning trade. So I just took some profit around 100 ticks here. Around 100 ticks. Let's see if this one wants to get a continuation down the sell side. So it's a winning trade. It's a winning trade. It's risk-free. The SMT is what made me take profit early. Otherwise, I would have kept holding. But honestly, this one could keep just selling off if we don't get a strong retracement. So I'll hold this one contract for now. We'll see what happens. We got our win there, though. So, you know, either way. Again, that next low is previous week low. So if we do drop, I expect it to come down to previous week low here. I'm just holding on to 1 runner. Holding on to 1 runner here. Pretty light trade, light risk. Not a trade I was willing to go in a heavy risk on. But we got a win. Even if it's not much. A win is a win. So first trade of the day there. First trade of our week is a win. Now let's see if we can catch some extra profit on this one if this one really wants to keep dropping. There we go. Now ES swept that low. Now ES swept that low. Let's see if we continue to drop here. How many ticks have we hit so far? That's 150 ticks on this one so far. That next low is like 177 ticks away from our entry. So, guys, who's holding this trade with me right now? Who took this? That's another winning trade. Come on, who's holding this one with me? That's another win for us. The win streak continues so far. The win streak continues. That's still a winning trade. It might not be much profit, but it's a winner. There we go. Some of us are in. Come on, there's 75 of us in here. You're telling me only 4 people got in? Alright, we just swept that low. So that's that TP level I was talking about. Now I'm going to trail my stop into profit a little bit. Honestly, I'll just keep it above this order block for now. We just swept a key low here. Just swept a key low, but if what's going to happen, if we're going to do the same thing we've done all day, then this one will probably keep dropping here. Let's go, guys. There we go. I mean, we're very close to previous week low. I think we're going to keep dropping here. It's just depends if we're going to get retracement right now or not. So you could trail your stop. You could take a full TP here. We just hit 100 and we had 200 ticks basically. Let's see how many. We just hit 199 ticks. 199 ticks for my entry. So I'm just going to hold this one for now all the way down to previous week low. That would be like almost 500 ticks there. And I'll probably just start trailing my stop. There we go, guys. Look at that drop. That's 200 ticks, 200 plus ticks. 200 plus ticks here. 238 ticks on this drop. That's what I'm talking about. If you guys want to take a full TP down here, you can. I'm just going to kind of wait and see. Wait for more structure to be built to trail my stop loss. Because I don't really have any order blocks or levels to keep my stop loss above right now. So, yeah, only half a lot for me on that trade, but still a nice win for us here. I mean, the win streak continues, guys. That's 6 days in a row here for us. 6 days in a row. 248 ticks. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't even know if I was gonna take an entry today. I didn't even know if I was gonna be able to take a trade with this price action, but we saw our level, we saw our rejection, we got our entry. There you go, deep. See you tomorrow, Caleb. Take it easy. So I'm still holding this one con right now, holding this one runner. Close to break even. Want to give this some room to break out, give me some more structure. I want to start trailing my stop pretty close here. I just don't want to trail it too prematurely when we don't really have any up close candles up here. We have no order blocks to even, you know, trail my stop. There's no reason right now for me to trail my stop when we have no bullish order flow. Thank you, Jerry. So let's see if we can sell off down to our previous week low, 19,140. That 19,140 level. Hey, chilling at the lake. I love it. I love it, Greg. Let's see if this one keeps dropping here, guys. Let's see if this one keeps dropping. 200. Oh, we're almost at 300 ticks. We're almost at 300 ticks. Can we hit 300? Give me 300. Give me 300. Can you give me 300? I want to start trailing my stop pretty close, guys. I want to start trailing it. But if we haven't had any up close candles on the 1 minute time frame, why would I trail my stop right now? Alright, so either you could take your full TP down here, you could start trailing it, but personally I'm just going to keep holding this right now until I see a reason to start trailing it, or I see a strong pullback that's too strong and I'll just get out. But we are about to hit 300 ticks, and I expect us to go to previous week low. So I'm going to keep holding for now until we start to see a reversal, or we start to inverse 1 minute levels. That's 300 ticks there, guys. 300 ticks have just hit. More like 330 ticks have just hit. I'm holding down to previous week low for 480 ticks. Another banger, guys. Another banger for us. Another banger. Like if we inverse a 1 minute fair value gap or something, that's when I'll just probably sell or trail my stop. Like if we start to move up like this, maybe I'll just sell and look for a re-entry. You know, I'll just take my profit and walk away. It might not be my profit goal or anything, but a win is a win. Just starting off the week in the green is always a good thing. You just kind of give yourself some buffer to start off the week. Start expanding on those profits. Let's see if we can make it down to previous week low here. I really think this will hit. I do think it'll hit 19,142.5. And honestly, we could keep going after taking out that level too. I mean, look at this drop already. So even if we do hit that, I don't even know if I'll sell. I might just keep holding it and just move my stop all the way down. So now we're forming a 1 minute order block. So this is a level that I would start to trail my stop to. Like if we can come down and close below this low, I'll move my stop all the way down to above this order block right here. Now we're building some structure, right? I'm not just going to move my stop down when we have no structure to put my stop above. I want to see us, you know, form an order block or a big fair value gap or something that I could expect price to retrace into and bounce off of. And if price starts to move above that level, well then I probably want to get out of that trade anyways. Because that means it's starting to respect bullish order flow instead of bearish order flow. There we go. We're moving. We're moving. Another banger here. We're almost at 400 ticks. That's 360 ticks. 400 ticks is just right here. Pretty close. That previous week low is like 480 ticks away. Oh, do we now? Do we now? Come on, guys. The win streak continues. Make it 6 days in a row. 6 days in a row of winning. Notice how we waited a long time for this trade too? We waited over an hour for this trade. Yes, Matthew. Give me just 1 second and I'll show you I'll show you the unicorn example from last night. I want to see us close below this order block and then I'm going to trail my stop down to here. Oh, I love that song, John. Sinner Man is a great song. I was just jamming out to that the other day. Alright, let's see us close below this order block here. I'm going to move my stop all the way down to like 198 probably. Not Careless Whispers. Yeah, what are you trying to do here, Matthew? Okay, we just closed below. I'll probably start trailing my stop now. I'm going to trail my stop down to 198.50, I think is where it's at. 198.50 is now where my stop is trailed to, guys. 198.50. We're almost to that full TP level. 383 ticks have hit. Guys, we just continue to win here. We continue to win. This has been pretty fun. I mean, I don't expect to lose. I expect to win, but it's nice when you just keep that streak going. You stay in the flow. Have we hit 400 ticks yet? We have 388 ticks. So let's say I get stopped out. I'm still catching 245 ticks on that trade either way, right, with my extra contract. So even if I get stopped here, oh well. That's a great trade. Big profit. There we go. Yet another eval passed. Dude, I feel you. I need to get my protein in too. Let's go, Jordan. Hey, you better, yeah. Take it very seriously. Let's get you a payout. Let's get you a payout. Come on, guys. Everybody is passing accounts. People are getting funded. People are getting payouts. That's what we're here for. There you go, honest money. You'll get. We'll look for another good setup during prop firm session. Oh, is this deep? Deep, is this your song request? That last song that you requested, Arjan Valley. Dude, I was listening to that all weekend. Love that song. Ooh, ooh. Okay, you got my head bopping here. You got my head bopping. I might get stopped out here, guys. Oh, I have my stop right in a 5-minute fair value gap. I almost want to move it up. I almost want to add into this. I almost want to add in the 5-minute fair value gap. I'm going to move my stop up for right now above that fair value gap. I'm going to move it up, and if we start to move aggressively past that high, I'll just sell. But if we get a nice reaction off that fair value gap, I think this one will continue to our full TP. If we break the low, where is the next liquidity zone? Let's look. Next liquidity level is right here. External liquidity, at least. Right there. And then down here. This is our next external liquidity levels here. Why won't this? Oh, there we go. Okay, Deep, I'm liking this. I'm liking this. So we got this 5 minute. I want to see us trade into that and start to bounce again from that 5 minute. Yeah, just below this is that 50% of the weekly Sibby, so our weekly busy. Weekly busy, so we could see a rejection off that level. This song is called Pata Chalgia. Here, I'll type it. Yeah, this is a banger, Deep. Deep, you need to keep these song suggestions going, man. You've been throwing out some good ones. Alright, we might not even trade into that 5 minute. We might just go hit our full TP. So we've hit 387 ticks. Let's see if we can go down to previous week low here. I told you guys if we just waited for our setup, we could catch a nice trade. I mean, we waited over an hour for this one. Hey, don't say that, KT. Don't say that. We just need us to reach previous week low, and we can sell. We can get out. 19-140-50. Right there. That's all we're asking here. That's all we're asking. Just a measly 478 ticks. That's all we're asking for. Okay, wait. We have to play this one again. Every time we win, we have to play this song. I can never get enough. Everybody's hands go up. And they stay there. Oh, we're almost at full TP. Come on, we just need a few more ticks. Win, win. Come on. We got some SMT at the lows. We are so close, guys. Uh-oh. I might have to sell. I might have to sell here, guys. We got SMT and we're inversing a 1 minute. I'm just gonna sell. I'm getting out. I'm done. I'll take my profit. I'm taking my profit there. I'm out. I don't even... If this one drops, oh well. That's... I mean, how many ticks did this trade just catch, guys? We hit 444 ticks. I think combined already from last week, we're over like 3,000 ticks almost. So... Although I was only in half a lot, I'll take my profit. I don't even care. A win is a win. That's a great win for us. That's a great way to start off our week. 6-day win streak. Let's just keep this win streak going. Let's keep it going tomorrow. Again, we'll have our prop firm session coming up. If we do bounce off this 5 minute, I could see the continuation down. I just didn't like that SMT and then the inverse of the 1 minute bearish fair value gap here. But again, we could still bounce off this 5 minute. I'm not going to look for a reentry right now. I did want to show Matthew. I wanted to show you that 15-minute unicorn from yesterday. It was up here. So, where was it? Where was it? Oh, right here. So this was the initial 15-minute unicorn. We did come up and sweep it after, but look right here how we had this. So we had a low, high, or high, low, higher, high, displacement of the lows. Okay, so lowest down close candle is right here. So high, low, higher, high up here, displacement of the lows with the fair value gap. So the lowest down close candle on that 15-minute first swing high, swing low here is our breaker. And then if we have a fair value gap overlapping that level, like right here, right, that's our unicorn model right there. The fair value gap overlapping. So we saw what happened was when we traded into it, we got a strong drop back down. What we ended up doing was creating a bunch of equal lows here, and we did end up inversing that unicorn, so it didn't really play out later in the day. But I mean, if you did look to take this one yesterday, which I didn't take it, let's say you got your entry all the way at the bottom here, you know, you could have caught almost 300 ticks on that move, right? So that's the unicorn model, and that's the model I like to use all the time. That's my favorite entry model. Again, if you are still confused about it, go under Joe's Lessons, the tab Joe's Lessons, and you can see my unicorn model video on there. I talk all about breaker blocks and the unicorn model. So I would go check out those videos if you want to. But all right, guys, that's all I got for you this morning. Good trade today. One trade taken, one win. We stayed patient. We waited an hour for our setup. We got our setup. And now we walk away with our profits. So we'll be back for Prop Firm session 10:45 PST. All right. Until then, you guys stay safe. You take care of those accounts. Don't go forcing trades. Don't get greedy. Hold on to those profits, okay? We'll be back. Let's keep on killing it. All right, guys. Appreciate you. God bless. See you soon. Peace.